Former U.S. President Donald Trump has made controversial statements about NATO's role in the Ukraine war. He argues that previous U.S. support for Ukraine's NATO membership was a major cause of the conflict. Trump blames President Biden for changing the U.S. position on this issue. He claims that Russia wouldn't have acted if he were still president. These comments have ignited strong reactions from various political figures and analysts. Some see them as aligning with Russian narratives. Others criticize them for downplaying Russia's aggression and undermining U.S. support for Ukraine. Trump's statements have stirred debate about the history of NATO's relationship with Ukraine and the U.S.'s role in the conflict. They also raise concerns about the future of U.S.-Russia relations and the implications for global security. Russia has openly welcomed Trump's statements. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov praised Trump for acknowledging what Russia sees as the West's role in the conflict. Lavrov emphasized that Trump was the first Western leader to publicly acknowledge this perspective. Russia has long opposed NATO expansion, seeing it as a threat to its security. It views Ukraine's potential membership in NATO as a red line. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is partly motivated by its desire to prevent this from happening. Trump's comments align with Russia's narrative that NATO expansion provoked the conflict. This alignment raises concerns about whether Trump's views could undermine international efforts to hold Russia accountable for its actions. NATO's relationship with Ukraine dates back to the early 1990s. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Ukraine declared its independence and inherited a large Soviet nuclear arsenal. Ukraine agreed to give up these weapons in exchange for security assurances from Russia, the US, and the UK. In 2008, NATO declared that Ukraine and Georgia would eventually become members. However, no concrete timeline or plan was established. Russia strongly opposed this declaration, viewing it as a direct threat to its interests. The 2014 annexation of Crimea by Russia further intensified the debate about NATO membership for Ukraine. While some argued for a more proactive approach to integrate Ukraine into NATO, others cautioned against provoking Russia. Trump's comments have drawn sharp criticism from many political analysts and leaders. They argue that his statements are factually inaccurate and undermine U.S. credibility on the world stage. Critics point out that Russia's aggression towards Ukraine predates Biden's presidency and even Trump's own time in office. They also express concern that Trump's stance could embolden Russia and weaken international support for Ukraine. Some worry that it might signal a shift in U.S. foreign policy towards appeasing Russia. Trump's comments have reignited the debate about NATO's role in the Ukraine war and the future of U.S.-Russia relations. They underscore the deep divisions that exist within the U.S. and internationally on how to address the conflict.